So let's add some dummy content to the other pages, and I'll continue with requests received because we can easily reach that page by clicking on requests in the header. And well, we got no requests yet, so for the moment I'll just output requests here just so that we see that loading this works. So therefore we now see requests here. Now the other pages are a bit hard to reach at the moment. We got no links to get to the contact page or to get to the registration page, but we can at least add some of those links already, I guess. For example, in the coaches list, yes, we don't have any coaches yet, but outputting the list of coaches will actually just be a part of this component here. Let's say we will have an unordered list down here later, but above that unordered list, I want to have a div, so a different container here in the end, which I'll give a CSS class of controls, which should have two buttons, let's say. One button that allows us to refresh the list of coaches. Later, we'll have coaches stored on a database in the web, and this button should then fetch the latest snapshot of that data. But besides that refresh button, which we need, we'll also have a button here which should allow us to register as a coach. And therefore, actually, this should not be a button, but a router link. So here I want to have a router link, register as coach, which goes to /register, because that was our registration route here. So this is a link I want here on the coaches page, this one. And therefore we can now also add some dummy code here to the coach registration. For now I'll just say register here, but soon we'll add a form on this page which allows us to fill in all the details we need to provide to register as a coach. So now if I click this, we should see register at least. Now we also have this contact page which we later can reach by clicking on the contact button of a specific coach. At the moment we have no specific coach, which is also a problem for the coach detail page, which we can't reach for that reason. But of course we can manually reach it by filling in coaches / and then some fictional coach ID here. And if we do that, we would theoretically reach the coach details page. So we can therefore add a dummy template to coach detail as well. Details for coach. And if we save that, we should see this on the screen if we reach this path here in the URL. And with that, of course, we can then also add a router link here in that or on that coach detail page where we say contact, where I want to go to /coaches, then the ID, which later will be dynamic, but for now I'll hard code it, /contact. Because you might remember that the contact page was this nested child route here, which we reach with coaches, some ID /contact. And therefore, that's just what I'm using here. And if I save that, we now have that link on the coach detail page. And if we click that, we reach contact here. But what we also notice is that we reach it, but nothing changes on the page. Well, keep in mind that this is a child route. Contact is a child route of that detail route here. And the consequence of that is that it will not be loaded to replace the route that was on the screen previously, but that instead it needs a new router view. It needs a separate router view, which has to be inside of the parent component of the child route. So in this case, in the coach detail component, we need to add a router view there. So here we can add a router view, and that's where then the child routes of coach detail will be loaded. In this case, the only child route we have, which is this contact route. So with that, if we now also add some dummy content to contact coach, contact coach, or anything like that, you see that this now shows up here if we are on /contact. If we are on just /C1, it's not there. If we click contact, it is there. And with that, we can reach all the routes and we can see some dummy content on those pages. But of course, we're not just there for dummy content only. So therefore, why don't we, as a next step, add Vuex so that we at least have a list of dummy coaches which we can display and start working with before we then later add the functionality to add our own coach data.